Okay, do you know what we're doing?
No idea.
Welcome back, everybody, to the LaBrant family channel, or possibly the Cole and Sav channel, because we're probably changing it to the Cole and Sav channel.
Probably.
Because we planned on making a family video, and with 4 kids, it is just too tough for us.
Yeah.
Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's just life with 4 kids.
Sometimes we'll throw kid stuff in here, though.
Yeah. Maybe, I think I have us decorating our Christmas tree, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll put us decorating our Christmas tree footage. I asked you guys on Instagram. Savannah literally never has any idea what we're doing whenever I turn the camera on. It's super genuine, though.
I don't even see his Instagram stories half the time. He's like, did you see my Instagram stories? No? Okay, good.
Sometimes I literally post Instagram stories just for Savannah to see them, and like 24 hours will go by and she never even saw it. Oh, it's gone now. Okay, so I asked Instagram to ask me the hardest questions that they could ask us.
Okay.
Okay? The most difficult questions. So we're going to turn this into a game.
Okay.
Okay? So I picked out 14 of what I thought were the toughest or most difficult or just fun questions that people might want to hear that we have never answered before.
Okay.
Kind of questions.
Cool. I like it.
I put them in a folder, and they're in the folder 1 through 14.
Okay.
So you'll answer 7, I'll answer 7. You don't have to answer it. You're going to pull the number out of the hat. See, we have a cool, fun cowboy hat here. You pull the number out. Whatever number you get, you have to read the question, and you can either answer the question as honestly as you can and get the point, or you can say, nope, I'm not going to touch on that question, and you lose a point.
Okay.
Okay? Or you don't get the point. Whoever has the most points by the end of the video is the winner. Whoever doesn't have the most points at the end of the video is the loser. It has to suffer the world's most terrible consequence on planet Earth. Deal?
Fine. Okay.
Cool. What number did you get?
14.
Number 14? What are the chances that you get the very last one? Okay, so you just scroll to the very end of that folder. It's like the easiest one.
I'll answer this one, I guess. Does Cole's stupidity have an impact on the kids?
This question was actually asked a lot.
I'm guessing like, because you're not stupid. He's actually a lot smarter than I am.
That was kind of you to say.
You are. You're really smart. But you just come off as very goofy and silly. So people that maybe that was people being mean, but in my opinion, I take that as they're saying you're like silly goofy. So yes, I would say it totally rubs off on the kids because all of our kids are outgoing, funny, silly, goofy, have lots of friends. They're all a lot like you.
See, that's my lovely wife. She somehow turned a question that was probably meant for harm.
Yeah.
To come across as sweet.
But I don't look at it as
loving.
harm.
Let me get this guy.
That's a good one. Number 1.
Number 1? Are you kidding me?
You got 1 and I got 14.
What are the chances of that? What are the chances? I guess 1 in 14.
1 in 14. Those are your chances.
Okay, this one.
Oh, this one
was asked a lot.
I'm sure.
Will you ever adopt Everly? Which is very much more serious than the last question.
Yeah.
Obviously, that is entirely up to her.
Yeah.
That is entirely up to Everly.
And
We've
told her that, and we've talked to her about it, and we've told her what that entails and how we can still keep her dad's last name, but she would just have her dad's last name as well as LaBrant, because right now she has her dad's last name and my maiden name.
Yeah.
So basically, it would just be taking my maiden name off. Yeah, we just told her when she's ready, if she wants to, that Cole is always willing to. So
she knows that I'm willing to, and if she never decides to, that doesn't change anything. Whether she is my adopted kid or biological or non, whatever it is.
Basically, it would just be on paper, but
yeah, that's the only difference that it'll make. So if that's something that she ever wants to do, then I would love to do that. If it's something that she never wants to do, then I won't love her any differently for not doing it. So and in reality, I think it's less about maybe me and her and more about her just having the same last name, because obviously as you go through school, or a lot of time like if we're flying in the airport, she's on like a different ticket and they always kind of bring that up. And so there's situations like that.
Yeah.
I think as she gets older, she just might want the same LaBrant last name to just have the same last name as your siblings and that kind of thing, and less about our relationship individually, right?
Yep.
So it's complicated, but it's also simple at the same time.
Totally.
Do I get the point?
Yes.
Okay.
Good job.
Because you kind of answered some of that too.
But maybe I get like 0.5.
No. That was still my question. Okay, here you go. Ready?
12. How do you know when it's time to cut a friend or significant other off because of toxic behavior?
So this one was like personal, but I just felt like it was like something that we had been through in our lives.
Yeah.
A few times. Just obviously you come across toxic people, and I'm interested to hear you answer this one.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever officially like cut a friend off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's just not in my nature. There's been boundaries where I don't hang out with the friend as much anymore or stuff like that. But there's never been a time like even those friends that I don't hang out with them as much anymore. We still talk occasionally. So I've never like cut a friend off.
Having like a priorities, especially as you get older and more busy with wife and kids, what we've done well with is like, okay, what are our priorities? God, and we actually just talked about this, like making sure like we're showing up to church, we're prioritizing that maybe over like kids' activities. And like there's so many things, whether it's whatever it is, relationship, friendship, activity, life. Yeah. That as you have those priorities, it makes it easier to say no, like, hey, I can't squeeze that in. I can't do that because I have to prioritize my marriage or my relationship with one of my kids or whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah. But it's also very personal and difficult.
And then relationship-wise, I think that's much harder to do. Personally, just because I feel like lots of girls struggle with toxic relationships. And I think, I'm no expert on this, but I think that it totally has to be you wanting to get out of that relationship and you knowing your worth and that you're better than that and you need to realize that. For me, it was a total God moment. For others, it could be something of just, I don't deserve that. I'm walking away, you know? Depends on the person. But it definitely has to be you because I had all my friends, my parents, and people saying, you could do better. You deserve better. And I never listened to anybody. So it was all just God's timing and me actually believing that I could do better. So that's my take on that.
Good answer. You get the point. Okay. Wow, so far we haven't dodged any questions, which I'm pretty proud of us on. 9. Okay, I like that. Do sleepovers scare you? As a survivor of, I can't bring myself to let my girls go. And I was kind of hoping that you'd probably get this one. But
I wish I got this one.
We're both fairly passionate about this. Our kids don't have sleepovers.
I'll help you. You have to give me another 0.5 though, so I get an extra point.
Long answer short, our kids don't have sleepovers at other people's houses for that reason.
And not even for that reason.
Not for that reason.
Yeah, because
that's a big reason.
Yeah, there are like certain families I probably would let my kids sleep over at their house, but I don't because it's a fine line of if I let them do that, I have to let them do the other person's house because it's a rule that's just nobody. Yeah. For our house.
We're very intentional about who our friends are. Who our close friends are. We'll be friends with everybody, but who our close friends are. We're very intentional about who our kids' close friends are. Obviously, our kids can be friends with whoever they want. Yeah. But whose house they might be going over to and that kind of stuff. Yeah. As parents, we will say yes and no to that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's just about protecting our kids the best way that we can. And personally, our kids don't have sleepovers at other people's houses.
But they have sleepovers at our house. But not they.
Because we have control over who can sleep over at our house. If there's kids that we know come from great families and are a great influence in our kids' life, then they're more than welcome to have a sleepover at our house where we can monitor the things that we feel need to be monitored.
Yeah, totally.
And obviously, family to family, you have to figure that out personally. Yeah. So yes, we're aware of that.
But I do think though, when you make a rule, you have to really stick with it, and you can't like let certain things happen here or there because I feel like that's where it gets tricky. Is like she doesn't have sleepovers, but she can sleep at so and so's house. But it's like, yeah. Then it starts getting.
We kind of cut off the sleepovers a while ago, and there have been many times.
She did sleepovers for like probably 2 years, not a lot. She probably slept over at 4 people's houses in 2 years, but like they were our closest friends, and then we just kind of decided
nothing happened.
Yeah, we just kind of decided let's stop sleepovers because it just should be a rule that we just have for all of our kids. So I feel like with your first kid, you kind of learn.
And there's a lot of gray area things like you can almost make, like you saying, I'm going to justify it this one time, and like you almost can't do that. So we've said no in some like hard situations where like she was just at this dance party thing that all the girls were sleeping over at, and we let her stay until about midnight, and then it was time to pick her up, even though it would have been so much easier at midnight just to let her sleep over. We're exhausted, we don't want to go back out, but we have this rule. Yeah. Even though there's not even other boys there, there's no boys even there, it's just a girl thing. Yeah. It's just our rule. Yeah. So if like she knows that, then it's just, yeah, you guys get it. And we still haven't figured this out. We have not figured out parenting. We have not figured out family. We have not figured out marriage. This is just what we're learning as we're going.
And Everly kind of gets her sleepover fixed because she'll sleep at Gigi's probably like once a month. So,
and again, she can have friends sleep over at our house if she wants, and she does quite often. Okay, what'd you get?
Okay, Number 7.
Ooh, lucky number 7, right in the middle.
How did you wait until marriage? I feel like we've talked about this question a good bit.
Yeah.
But maybe not.
Yeah. I kind of forget.
Yeah. How did we? It was very hard.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Together, Savannah and I waited until marriage.
We made the decision when we first started dating that we were going to.
We got married very fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone jokes like if you're a Christian and you're waiting until marriage. But
still,
you get married fast. So
even a year of waiting was difficult, you know, when you love someone so much. And so you just make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't easy. Is the easiest way to put it. And you just got to set boundaries where you feel are very important.
Yeah.
Know your weak spots. Put boundaries in those places.
Who do you think it was easier for?
I think it was easier for you.
Yeah, I would probably say that, right?
Yeah, because you've told me that before.
Yeah.
And I know it was very difficult for me.
Yeah. I mean, it was difficult for me too, but I think it was easier for me because I knew what it was like not waiting in relationships. And so I was like, well, I want to figure out what it will be like waiting. And it was just so much greater. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool for me. And I think it was easier for me not to do that because I had already done it in the past.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer, honey. Number 4. Lucky number 4. How do you handle disagreements around the way you raise your kids? Great question.
Yeah.
Parenting is like the season of life that we're in right now. Mm-hmm. And we fortunately don't disagree a lot. I think that a very important thing around getting married, and again, we are no marriage experts, but finding someone that even if you don't have kids yet,
talk about these things before.
You talk about how you're going to discipline your kids.
Yeah.
You know, are you going to do this? Are you going to do this? What are you going to do in these situations? Because we know so many people.
Not that like we did that before because it just kind of happened because of Everly. So I feel like we're giving that advice because we've had Everly and we kind of figured that out before.
I have young siblings who are all dating and I tell them the exact same thing.
But I think it would be really awesome for couples to talk about that kind of stuff before, so then when you get into the parent life, it's
the number one thing that married couples argue about is their kids. Yeah. And just things that happen with kids. Parenting is extremely difficult and marriage can be extremely difficult at times. And
you're not always going to agree on everything. There's going to be things where you have to compromise.
You were raised a certain way where your parents did things and you either liked it or you didn't, and your spouse a totally different set of parents with a totally different set of, so the more that you can talk about and come to conclusions on before you get there, I think the better. And it's really attractive. It was really attractive for me to see how Savannah parented Everly. And I agreed with most of how she was already doing it. So I think as you're dating and you're asking these questions, I personally found it really attractive, and I would encourage you to find it attractive to, as someone is naturally saying things that you agree with in parenting, that should check the boxes. Yeah. If there's already a lot of like, oh, I don't know about that one. Oh, you're gonna do that. I don't and there's already a lot of that before the kids are even there. Yeah. All that being said, there has been several times, and there will continue to be times where things happen that we don't see eye to eye on. Yeah. Like I'll give just like a really small example. Christmas season, right? Christmas season.
I already know what he's going to talk about.
Gift giving. It's happening right now. Savannah loves gift giving. That's one of her love languages. She's so good at it. And
I love giving gifts.
In my opinion, maybe too much so. Right? So I am
I go a little overboard on Christmas.
Always, hey,
I do, you guys.
Gifts.
But it's like the one time I truly
Savannah's
go overboard.
Always like maybe more.
In life.
So we're trying to find compromises in the middle. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
I just love Christmas so much.
She doesn't 100% agree on how I would have Christmas morning be, and I don't necessarily 100% agree with how she would. So how can we meet in the middle to where, as a family, it is a happy...
But I've gotten better.
Yes, and I've gotten better.
Yes, yeah. So Cole would say, the kids can each get 8 presents for Christmas. And he'd say, but I think we should make them give away half of those. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I don't think this is the time to give away the presents. I think, sure, let's go through their playroom. Let's donate. Let's go buy presents. Let's go buy presents.
This is one example of, yes, in marriage and parenting your kids, there's going to be a lot of ways, again, how you were raised, it's different than how your spouse was. And you got to find a common middle ground. Every night we pray, and one of the things in our prayer is that we would be a team.
Yeah.
We have to be a team. It cannot be Savannah raising the kids how she wants to, and I raise the kids how I want to, and hope that they turn out okay, because our marriage will not.
Yeah.
And therefore our kids will be suffering because of.
Yeah.
We got to be a team.
Yeah.
And that is a lot easier said than done, but I think we're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, we are.
We're into our 7th year of marriage, and this is whenever most divorces happen.
I know, that's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't know
and we
that.
are still madly in love. Should we give them an example of how madly in love we are?
No.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
No. Is it my turn?
Actually, it's one of the questions, so maybe we'll
Okay,
get
I'm
it.
going.
I think one of the questions is show everybody how madly in love you are. I hope you get that one.
13.
Oh, that is the one. Look.
If Pinocchio said my nose is going to grow now, would it grow? I've been stuck on this for too long.
No hate, genuinely curious. Do you ever regret putting your children on the internet?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a great one.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to go over this. So should I change the SD card before
No, we could be quick.
Okay. My SD card is dying, so I'll keep this fairly quick.
I would say sometimes, yeah, for sure. I would say there's lots of times, and most of the time, where I think it's so much fun. The kids love it. They like looking back on old videos. It's like having home videos. It's super cute. Like, we'll put on old videos for the kids all the time, and they just think it's like the best thing ever. So there's times where I'm like, okay, that's all worth it.
Yeah.
And then there's times where we'll post something and a bunch of mean comments, and I don't ever read them. But it's just one of those things where it's like, ugh, I hope my kids never read that one day.
Yeah. Well, and that's why we are doing a lot less and less.
Yeah.
Of and
So
with
I'm
the
trying
kids,
to
but
keep
not
them out of
entirely. And
lots
whenever
of
we
things.
started filming as a family 7-8 years ago, people were making Instagram accounts of their dogs. People were
Yeah.
making Instagram accounts of their new favorite pair of shoes.
Yeah.
It was just like the thing to do of just like including everything, and everybody in our family was our everything. So it just like made sense. And like, if you look back on any of my videos I've ever made, I've never been one to be like a solo guy in front of the camera. And same with Savannah. Like, some influencers are great about like just like it being all them.
Yeah.
But I don't
Personally,
want to come across like super humble. But like, I just don't really like love myself. But I love my wife and I love my kids and I love my family. And that's what I wanted people to see, is that I love Jesus. I love my wife. I love my kids. And I just wanted to share that.
Personally, all of me is just a mom. So I feel like I would just be lying completely if it was just me talking, or just me doing stuff. Like, I'm just, I love being a mom.
That's what we wanted to
So I like
embody,
showing mom
was
stuff.
hopefully a loving, healthy marriage
Yeah.
and loving, healthy parents to their kids.
Yeah.
And I think that most people get that, and some people won't. And that's okay. A lot
And
of
those people
can
just
take
need to
things the wrong
stop
way.
watching our videos. I get confused by that.
Yeah.
Just don't watch. That's all.
But they're watching.
They are.
They're watching.
Really weird.
And that's the good part, is as they always watch.
But thank you.
We could obviously go a lot longer on that one, but that's a very short-winded answer. Okay, sorry guys, I had to change that SD card. I think you're up.
5 things you guys butt heads about when it comes to parenting.
So this was kind of
We kind of talked about
that was kind of the other one, but you can at least like maybe say just
Honestly,
some of the things.
I would say the Christmas thing is pretty big.
Yeah.
Because around Christmas time, it's always like a conversation that we
This is 7 or 8 Christmases in a row now.
trying to think of what else.
And this usually happens with birthdays too.
I would say probably Everly dance stuff, the dance clothes that she wears.
No, I think we've answered all the questions.
8.
You're not putting them back in the hat, are you?
No.
Your marriage is solid, but what would you do if you found out one of you was cheating?
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
That's a good one.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Um,
It's my question. You gotta stop answering my questions. I would just be, I feel like,
livid.
yeah, what do you want me to say? Like,
Yeah,
the obvious answer is confused, shocked.
I think they want to know, would you immediately want to get a divorce, or would you try to work it out?
I think that we've actually talked about this. Like,
That's probably what I assume people want to know.
I think that as awful as it is, I think both of us would try to work it out. Just because
Not that we're saying
I'm not justifying this.
do it.
I'm not giving you the pass here.
Yeah.
But
Number 11. How do you instill confidence in your children when they could read mean, judgmental comments?
I'll say first off, we need to clarify that.
Yeah, first off,
don't.
they don't read mean comments. But I'm sure that
Because none of them have access to social media.
no social media, no cell phones. We haven't had to deal with that yet, even though I'm sure when she's a teenager and maybe one day when we decide that she can have her own social media, it's going to happen. And my hope is that we've instilled enough confidence in her that when she does go to read those comments, and I'm going to prepare her for those comments, that she is able to do what I do and look past them and just know that.
Not finding your worth, good or bad.
Yeah.
In the comments, you can
Totally.
A lot of people get on social media and they're
Yeah, that's
posting
good.
because they're getting a lot of praise.
Uh-huh.
So they think, oh, I'm the best this, I'm beautiful, I'm this, and then all of a sudden, if you guys know social media, people love you and people hate you. All on the same day. You know, you can do one dumb thing. So like, don't let the praise get you on a high horse, and don't let the hate make you think you're awful. Let your true friends, your true community, and we've been very fortunate in our life, outside of our kids' lives, just our life, having a great community at our church and our friends who know us and love us despite our success, despite our failures. They don't let that define us, and we don't either. So,
3.
Number 3.
There's only 2 left.
There's only 2 left. This one's funny because this one actually goes with that one. Do you feel like YouTube has changed Everly and the other kids in any ways, good or bad?
A good thing is they get to spend so much time with their mom and dad.
Yeah, we've gotten to spend so much quality time with our kids. We've gotten incredible opportunities that we wouldn't have gotten if. A great perspective on this is, at least a healthy perspective that I like to look at it in, is we have talks with Everly now about silly things that are on the internet. Silly things that people have said about our family, silly TikToks that have maybe gone viral. It's very easy for negative things to go viral, right? That's why paparazzi are always posting terrible tabloids about celebrities and this and that, because people love to see and read negative things, as bad as it is. So we tell her about that, and we remind her that negative people feed on negativity. So even at a young age, she's aware of bad things that can and will be said. And I think that a lot of teenagers are maybe thrown into social media at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, whenever their parents give them a phone and give them access to social media. And maybe the parents aren't even aware of it because they're kind of older or they're not active or whatever it is. So they don't really know how to have these conversations with their kids. So then whenever their kid starts receiving so much negativity or hate, because that's what's going to happen on social media, they don't know who to go to. They're so blindsided. They're so confused. And maybe they take those comments seriously. Where I'm very fortunate that Savannah and I have had so much awareness around this. That we have had conversations with Everly already, even though she doesn't have a phone or social media. But preparing her, and we will with all of our kids, that nothing that anybody is saying really matters that much. So don't take it, and it goes back to the last thing. Don't let the praise boost you up. Don't let the negativity. These people don't know you. Right?
I care, and I tell Everly and even Cole, if we're ever in situations, we should only care what our friends and family are thinking of us, our closest friends and our family. And if we want their opinion, that's the only people that we should really be seeking to ask, not social media.
And then you could ask the question, like, why even do social media, if that's the case? I think that 99% of normal, happy, content people in their life don't go around necessarily commenting or
it's sad people leaving mean comments. It's not happy people leaving mean comments.
The sad people, the mean, angry people, they're going to be the ones pushing their hate and anger out there. But the 99% of the supporters are just going about their happy lives, seeing your stuff, supporting your stuff, and again, giving our family amazing opportunities, but also the influence and the finances that we've been able to make through social media. We don't post and we don't say all that we do, but we know that it is far worth some silly, hateful, lying comments. The people that we've been able to help, we wouldn't have been able to help otherwise. So that goes so much farther than a couple lies. We could really, we aren't prepared for these.
We can make a whole video on this
we could definitely prepare a lot on this if we wanted to. But to each their own, and to each family their own. But this is truly how we feel is best in our family and our situation. Okay. All right. There's 2 more.
I'm going for 10. I saw it. I picked 10. It. Do Posey and Zealand know that Ev is their half sister? I'm curious how you explained. They're too little to. They know that she has another dad. They know that. But I think they'd be too confused for me to be like, she's your half sister. So that's, it'll happen later on when they ask me the question. But Everly knows, but she doesn't think anything of it. It's kind of just, that's what it is.
What is something you wish you knew before getting married?
And maybe even like before marriage, figuring out like family stuff, like what are we going to do for Thanksgivings? What are we going to do for Christmas? So then there's no, like, I think that for us, it's never been an issue because that's just something we decided on really quick. For others, it could be an issue of like, oh, but I've always done Christmas at my mom's, or I've always done Thanksgiving at my mom's. So you're saying that we can't do that now? Yeah. And that becomes like a big issue in marriage or things like that. So maybe that's something to talk about before too. Yeah,
for sure.
Family stuff.
Each family, especially if you each come from
traditions
like a big family.
that you've done that you really love and want to keep.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been fortunate that our family hasn't really pulled us apart per se. Yeah. I feel like we know a lot of families and just, I think it's very normal for them to be like, oh, come on, you got to come here. And then them say, no, you got to go there. So then it just kind of like pulls apart. So that's good. Okay, maybe fix your posture a little bit so you're not slouching.
Well, your head's cut off, so I don't want mine cut off.
Do you wanna start it?
Ready?
Yeah.
Hello! Cole told me to start the video, so here I am.
You gotta do a little better than that one.
Okay.
You gotta do a little better than that.
Okay. Welcome back to the LaBrant family vlogs. Cole told me to open up this one, so
that's pretty good.
That's where I'm
going. I like that. Okay, guys, so this isn't like a Q&A. Like we didn't post something asking questions. As you guys know, we're only posting there are some giant wasps flying right behind the kids. Right outside, and it's kind of distracting. So if you see us looking outside, the bugs here in Tennessee are insane. It's insanity. But I didn't put something on my Instagram. Usually I'll put something on my Instagram saying we're doing a Q&A, ask us questions that you want to know, life updates, all that kind of stuff. We didn't do that because we have kind of 3 or 4 bigger topics that we're just gonna open up, just real life stuff.
Yeah.
To talk with you guys about.
Just stuff that I've seen a lot of questions just come in through my DMs and stuff that I just like to talk about anyway.
And we've obviously, we put our lives out there. And I mean, obviously it comes with negativity at times, but honestly we love it. And there's so much positivity out there. And I feel like over the years we've built such an awesome community of people who are like-minded, like ourselves, and faith-based, and have a lot of the same values that we do.
Yeah.
So obviously if you don't love us, if you don't support us, cool. There's a lot of people out there who I'm sure have the same values and same stuff as you do. But
something that I'll never understand too is if you don't like us, just don't watch us.
Yeah.
Otherwise you do like us because you're watching us. So that's kind of how I look at it.
There you got it. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
I don't watch people that I just don't agree with.
But that's not one of the topics. Yeah, we're getting on a tangent here. But so we're just going to be talking about some real life things going on in our life.
Yep.
And then go from there. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, so there's a few major topics that we can just kind of open up on the board. These are kind of conversations.
One that's very important to me is homeschooling. And that's a big one that always comes through is just why we homeschool, how we're homeschooling, all the details that come with that. So we started homeschooling last year with Everly. And we do a 2-day-a-week program where she goes in for 2 days, is at home for 3 days. And it was great. I chose my own curriculum. It was just so nice just having so much more time with her. And she's just so great at it. She works hard, she gets it done, and then we have the rest of the day to hang and just have so much family time. So it's really nice. I love homeschooling for that reason.
I feel like a big question is, just as a whole, why do you homeschool?
Yeah.
Why?
I think...
What would your answer to that be?
I think my main thing is I love having my kids with me all the time.
What would you say to people who are that's selfish, she should get out there more?
Well, no, and I was going to say, not that the people that send their kids to school don't like having their kids at home. That's not what I'm saying. I think just for me, I want to be the number one...
influence.
Yeah, I want to be the number one influence in their life, and however I can make that happen, I'm going to.
Kind of people watching, what would you say to people who they're watching and they're that's selfish of you because you should allow everybody to go to school so that she...
Okay.
Or not necessarily all of our kids.
That's also why I think they go in twice a week. So it's half and half. They get the 2 days a week where they're going in, they're playing with their friends, they're having so much fun. They have the teacher aspect where they're still learning in a classroom, but it's just 2 days a week. And then 3 days they're at home with me. So it's more family time, more time where I'm influencing them.
Everly
and she wanted to.
Well, and Everly dances a lot. She has a lot of extracurricular activities, and so do all of our kids.
And the second that they want to go back to school, I'm kind of all for them trying it out. I'm not trying to homeschool them for their whole life. I would love to homeschool them as long as possible. I think there's lots of drama in middle school, and I like to keep them away from that and just limit as much of that as possible for them is what I would like to do.
Yeah.
But I kind of want all my kids to go to high school and experience high school.
Yeah. I think it's all about balance. I think that school as a whole, I think as long as your kids are getting an education, which is very important, great. I think a big reason that people send their kids to school is obviously if both parents are working and they got to send their kids to school, or the social aspect.
Might want them to go to school full time, and that's fine.
There's a lot of reasons, but if you're in a situation like us where like we have the ability to homeschool our kids, our kids are an extracurricular activity, so they are getting their social stuff.
Oh yeah.
Then like the opportunity for them to stay home more with us and us have more of an influence and all that kind of stuff in their life, we feel like is the right thing for our kids and our situation and our family. But that doesn't mean it's the right thing for you and your kids and your situation and your family.
It just works for us.
But it's definitely working for us. We're seeing
Posey's thriving too. This is her first year in preschool.
Yeah.
So she goes in twice a week when Everly goes in, and then she's at home, and she's doing so good. She loves it. She thinks it's so cool. So.
And we definitely, I feel like I've seen a lot of fruit. Obviously, this is Posey's first year, but I feel like we've seen like a lot of fruit in Everly's life over like the past year. Just stuff. You know, as your kids get older, different things happen, and you know, different friends and different influences, and
it's been really good for everyone.
So and good for us. It's just been good for our family. So do you like keep like did you want to homeschool Everly so that she could watch all the other kids though?
Oh man.
Okay. We talk about this in every single Q&A, but it is a very real conversation outside of YouTube, outside of social media, just me and Savannah, our family.
Yeah, and probably the number one question that we get on every Q&A.
Yeah, it's just baby number 5.
Yeah.
We got 4 kids. Everly's 10. Posey's 4. Zealand's 3. Sunday's 1. That's kind of the spread
busy
right now.
But
there's
so
a lot going
fun.
on. We love it. Again, our family situation, our family dynamic, it's a lot different than most people's. We are home. I'm not just lounging around. I do things, we do things, but you know, we do get to be at the house more. So we understand that the idea of like a 5th kid to some people might just sound outrageous and unbelievable. But for us and our family and our situation, I come from one of 6 kids. Savannah's always wanted 20 kids. So somewhere in between that, we're gonna. We already have a big family, but we've always wanted a big family, and we will. So kid number 5 is always kind of floating in conversations.
It's always there.
Yeah.
It's just dependent on when it's going to happen and what that might look like. So I guess we can just get into it.
Originally Savannah was dead set on 5th kid coming from us together. Like definitely like 100%.
Like getting pregnant.
Yeah. She headstrong on that, and we were both kind of like on the same page. Like after Sunday, we were kind of like, okay, let's. You know, we had Posey, Zealand, and Sunday all kind of boom, 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 which is what we wanted. We wanted them to be really close, and obviously as close to Everly as possible. She was already so much older.
Well, and I always told Cole too, like, Cole would always say sometimes, like, well, 4 is so awesome, don't you love 4? And I'm like, yes, it is, it's so nice, but you have to warn me on my last pregnancy that this is my last baby. Because I just feel like I'd be so sad if we just did. I feel like something's missing if we don't have one more. I just personally feel like something's missing, and not like a number thing, not like a 4 or 5 having that many, but just I feel like someone is missing in our family, and so I wouldn't feel complete unless
I trust
we
my
didn't
wife.
have one
By
more.
no means am I gonna pump the brakes. I say all the time, I'm happy with 4. I'm sure I'd be happy with 5.
Yeah.
So I don't want to pump the brakes, and then we get older and like, man, you always talk about that 5th, and
Bummer.
we just and I shut the door on that
You're
opportunity.
never gonna regret having another kid.
Yeah, that's what
I've never met someone that said
That's what we
I
hear.
regret.
We're still young.
having that
We're still
kid.
young, so we can't vouch that yet.
But I have met people that have said I regret not having another.
For sure.
You know?
So we always have kind of been in conversations like, let's have Sunday get a little bit older, and whenever we feel ready, we'll come together and.
Because Posey and Zealand are only like right around 19 months apart, so like a year and a half, and then Zealand and Sunday are 22 months apart, so they're both like a year and a half apart, you
Very
know,
close.
right under 2 years.
But we always have talked about the possibility of adopting too, and I'll be honest and real with you guys that whenever we first got married and before we had 4 kids of our own, I was very open to adopting and entertained that idea a lot, and just was like, yes, one day we will adopt. As we had more and more kids, I personally got more closed off to the idea of adoption. That I was just like, this is a lot of kids. Maybe we won't adopt. You know, it was always kind of like, maybe we will, maybe we won't. But we went to this event, and Savannah was always. Savannah was always like, we're gonna have a 5th of our own, and then we'll probably still adopt too. I'm just like, oh man, where are we drawing lines here? But
I've always had a pull on my heart to adopt for sure.
But we went to our friend's event the other night, and the entire event revolves around adopting children from Uganda. And not just adopting children from Uganda.
Not adopting, but that was part of it.
Just helping.
helping sick kids.
Yeah, helping sick kids in Uganda, and obviously part of that comes with adoption. And that entire event was just, I mean, it was radically changing for definitely both of our lives.
Yeah.
I mean, 100% Savannah.
I was in tears.
Like Savannah is
all night
going headfirst into this program, and the people who founded it and started it, and
they're just the best people ever.
Kind of pulling Savannah in. It's just
an
amazing.
So hopefully you'll see more of that soon, because that's something I'm like dying to share at some point once I get plugged in a little bit more.
No, you guys would have to be hearing and seeing more about it because it's something that we're both very passionate about. But definitely Savannah, and it's an amazing organization that women founded, and I think it's so awesome. It's like mom founded and mom run. So like, I feel like a lot of the times like men kind of start things, but like I love seeing Savannah just being like, you go and do this, and I'm just gonna like trust and follow you. You know, like wherever you feel, whatever you want to do. So that's kind of where we're at now, as Savannah's getting involved in this, and I think that we're almost leaning more towards the possibility of number 5 being an adopted than. And obviously it's all God, like, you know, whatever God wants to do in our family, we don't want anything outside of his will.
And I feel like I was always kind of leaning towards like, well, whatever happens, happens. And I still feel like that. But now I'm like, I feel like that night I was clearly shown, God just like laid it on my heart that he was like, you're gonna adopt. And I was like, okay. And I told Cole, and he was like, "Okay, that's what we're doing."
I knew that we were gonna. I knew whenever we said yes to going to the event, I knew that I already told Savannah. I said we're gonna leave that event
wanting to adopt,
which is fine. So I was almost like, "Are we sure that we want to go to this event?" But obviously that's how God works,
but obviously whenever we start the process or whatever that looks like,
it's a long process.
It's a long process. We'll obviously keep you guys in the loop with that too, but. We're kind of leaning towards number 5 that happens.
But we love each other very much, so anything could ever happen.
That's true.
That means anything could ever happen.
And then we wanted to give you guys an update on Everly. It's been exactly a year on 9/9. I'm sure you guys know what we're talking about. But for her, I just wanted to give a little update on how she's doing. Not that you guys need to know, but I do feel like I just wanted to give you guys a little update on how she is, and she's doing as well as she could in the situation. She obviously has her moments and she gets very sad, and we love on her and we talk with her through it. She asks whatever questions she wants and we talk about all the things that she wants to talk about. We're very open with her. She talks to us a lot about it. But she's doing well. We like to keep her busy. And so, you know, she's always hanging out with us, hanging with friends at dance. But I think the best thing for her is keeping her busy in that way and not just, you know, at home getting sad, especially in the beginning when it first happened. So I just wanted you guys all to know that she's doing well. And obviously there's the sad moments, but overall she's doing really well. So we're happy for that. Oh, you wanted to ask me questions?
Getting your mom on The Golden Bachelor.
It's really nice. Should I bring that up just as a joke really quick?
If you are in your 60s.
Actually.
And you want to date Savannah's mom.
For real, you guys. If you guys have I was going to say hot dad, that's weird. If you guys have a good looking dad who loves Jesus and is just a good guy, send him, well, don't send him my way because that's weird, but send me a DM because I'm trying to find my mom a southern boy here in Tennessee. So
yeah.
It's a little throw that in there in
this
video.
There you go, a little plug for Gigi. Rapid fire you a few questions, okay?
Okay.
If you could change only one thing in your life, what would that be and why?
I don't want to change anything.
I figured she was going to say that, but I was kind of hoping that you were going to say something.
Well, I don't like regret anything.
Yeah. And you know, like if you change something, then there's always going to be like some kind of like weird consequence that comes with it.
If you change something, like even if there's something that I'm like, oh, I would change that, I wouldn't want to change it because then something else would happen.
Yeah.
So I don't want to change anything.
If you had 3 wishes, that same fairy, that could come true, what would they be?
3 wishes from a fairy?
Yeah. Like in the future. So not necessarily things like you would change in your life, but like 3 wishes that could come true.
3 babies.
Okay.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. For our kids just to grow up thinking that we just have the sweetest relationship that they look up to. For real. That's a big one. So our kids always just think of us like that. For our kids to find spouses that love Jesus and love them so much and respect them. And for our kids to always have strong relationships with each other.
It's cute. You love your kids.
And you.
That's good.
You were in there too.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a great thing.
Yeah.
Just, you're just like, money and
No.
an island. And, no, that's cute. Okay. What are...
Island would be pretty cool though.
An island would be cool.
Yeah.
What are a couple of things that you appreciate about our relationship?
Ours?
Yep. And why do these things seem significant?
Well, you're just the best.
It's very sweet.
So I don't know, everything. You're just the best.
Yeah, but not about me, but about our relationship together.
I feel like we just we're like best friends. So we could obviously get along just like perfectly like best friends do, and we have so much fun together. Like I'd rather hang out with him than any of my friends. You know? Like I have so much, not, I don't want to say so much more fun with you, but I do have more fun with you than my friends. But we also can fight like best friends in a good way because we don't hate each other. We always are BFFs again.
Yeah.
You know, we figure it out.
Yeah.
We're good at figuring it out. We don't fight for longer than 10 minutes?
2 or 3 weeks at a time.